Jyuzou here, back for some Gunpla building. For this video, we're building a high-grade kit of the RX-78-2 Gundam. Like most high-grade kits, this has a scale of 1 to 144 and is a good place to start if you want to get into Gunpla building. This kit was released by Bandai as part of Gundam's 35th anniversary back in 2015. As usual, the box contains the box art of the kit, information about the show and the mobile suit it's based on, details about the included accessories, as well as pictures of the actual model kit so you'll have an idea of how many parts are included, its color separation, gimmicks and articulation, etc. I got this for around $10 which matches its suggested retail price of 1,000 yen. The kit has 3 main runners marked as A, B, and C parts. The SB-13 parts runner contains the 2 translucent effect parts for the beam saber accessory, while the PC-002 contains some pulley caps for the gunpla joints. There are also some stickers, but I won't be using these. A parts runner contains the colored parts of the gunpla, while B parts contains the white parts, which include most of the armor of the Gundam, parts of the arms, legs, waist, and head. C parts contains gray parts, which include most of the weapon parts, as well as the inner frame of the kit. And by inner frame, I mean parts inside the armor that's visible from outside, like the gunpla joints, because the kit doesn't have an actual inner frame. This is actually the first video I recorded for YouTube, which I did from last year. I immediately followed the instruction manual's first section, but quickly realized after cutting off the first 2 parts that there is a more efficient way in going through the build. At last, the actual assembly. We'll go through all the sections in the manual and how the parts are pieced together. There will be tons of jump cuts. Also, be prepared to hear a ton of chicken sounds in the background. Probably some dogs barking in there as well. They all love to be noisy in the morning. Continuing where we left off, in the torso, or the body subsection, like most high-grade kits, the build is pretty easy and straightforward. I'm also glad to see that the color separation on this kit is great, and that's why I opted not to use the included foil stickers. We will take a closer look at the beam sabers attached to the backpack later on. There are 3 translucent parts in the kit. One is for the eyes of the Gundam, as shown here in the head subsection assembly. The most complicated subsections to assemble are the arms and legs of the kit. The armor attaches to joints built off of gray parts from the C parts runner, acting as some sort of an inner frame for the kit. The other arm, in this case, the left arm, is basically just a mirror image of the other, meaning that it was assembled in a similar fashion, so I decided not to include the assembly footage to avoid extending the overall video further. Similar to most, if not all high-grade kits, the hands are not articulated, but interchangeable. I'm skipping sections 5 and 9 for later, so we'll move on to the right leg, which has the most parts in a subsection and has similar joints and assembly to the arms. The feet are more complex to the hands in terms of articulation and number of parts involved. Where the hands can only wiggle slightly at the wrist, the ball joint connected to the feet can also swivel slightly forward and back, which will be shown in a moment. Again, the left leg is literally just a mirror image of this one, so I won't include the assembly of the other half for brevity. The waist connects the lower half to the upper half of the Gundam via a ball joint. The waist also has the least amount of articulation among the subsections in the instruction manual, if not counting the head of the Gundam. Before combining the subsections together, let's assemble the accessories of the kit. This is the Gundam's main weapon, its beam rifle. It's not noticeable, but I accidentally cut off a small peg that secures the tip of the rifle, which I had to apply glue to off-screen. The shield is the most vibrant and colorful accessory included, with the big yellow cross in the middle of the bright red plating. The Hyper Bazooka is a Gundam's most explosive weapon. It's also composed of gray parts from the C parts runner. The grip tilts slightly forward and back as to give more freedom on how the Gundam is supposed to hold it while posing. After building the subsections, we piece them together to create the main unit. Now let's look at the finished product in more detail. Here are some profile shots of the Gundam in a neutral or standing position. For a size comparison, I have here a Nintendo Switch game case. Next, let's take a look at the articulation of the kit, starting off with the head. Since the head is connected via a ball joint, the head can rotate 360 degrees and tilt upward slightly. The shoulders are also connected via a ball joint, but the actual socket in the body subsection can also swivel inward and out, giving the Gundam shoulder more articulation. This is useful when holding the rifle two-handed. The elbows can bend inward to its fullest via a double joint. The waist can rotate slightly sideways. The torso can also be bent slightly forward, backward, and sideways. And the skirt armor can be moved upward with the exception of the back skirts. The leg can freely move upward until it is restricted by the Gundam's waist. The side skirt will pop off eventually if you push the legs further sideways. The legs can rotate 360, and the articulation of the knees is good enough to see the Gundam in a kneeling position. Again, the feet is connected via a ball joint, and the ball joint itself is connected to the leg via another joint that can swivel forward and back. With all the joints in the arms and shoulder parts, the kit can also grab the beam saber from its backpack like so. For the beam rifle, we will have to swap the hands for the right arm. The kit can also hold the rifle two-handed. The Gundam shield has a peg which can be used to attach it to the Gundam's backpack. The same peg can be used to attach the shield to the Gundam's left arm. There's also the Hyper Bazooka that I don't really like to use much. But the Gundam has this small clip accessory that you can attach to the back of the waist, which could then act as a compartment for the Hyper Bazooka when not in use. Lastly, the beam sabers attach to the beam saber grips found on the backpack. And that wraps up the review of the high-grade RX-78-2 Gundam.